Okay, hello there, everybody. Today we're gonna kind of take a really quick look at some audio stuff here. And so basically, what I'm gonna do is see how I can get music playing in the background really simply, no code whatsoever. And of course, to customize it, I would want to use code, but and also how we can get it to play a sound when a certain thing happens. The basic code for what is it we're doing? For making noise. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is actually get my audio files imported into here. So I'm going to create a new folder over here in my project folder. I'm going to call this one audio because that's what I want to call it. And I think I'm going to shut these down. Okay, and go back and grab my audio like so. There we go. Get all of those imported. And generally speaking, Unity will import just about any audio file format you've got, so shouldn't have a problem with that. And once it's in here, I can take a look at some things, and generally speaking, the default properties are going to be just fine for me. If I wanted it to be mono for some reason, I'd want to go ahead and set that up to be mono. Other than that, my default settings are going to work just fine for everything that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so first thing I want to do is actually get some music playing. So on my game manager object, now if you don't have a game manager, you can add one, or you can add a music manager, or whatever you want to do. The way music works is there's two components we need. One is called an audio listener. The audio listener is basically the player's ears in the game world. Now you can only have one audio listener. Well, you can have more, but you're going to get warnings down here if you have more than one audio listener. And the reason is, if you think about it, there's one player. Even on an MMO game, it's basically one player near that computer. And the audio listener is where the player is hearing noises from. So if you have more than one audio listener, it gets a little confusing. Generally speaking, cameras have audio listeners by default. Right there it is. So my camera, my first-person controller, that kind of place tends to be where your audio listener is going to be. So I've already got an audio listener in here. The next thing I need to make sound work is an audio component. So the audio listener is the player's ears in the game world, and the audio component is what actually makes noises. So on my game manager, I'm going to go ahead and add a component here. If it'll let me. There we go. And I'll go to audio, and I'm just going to add an audio source. I'm sorry, I always call it audio component, but it's audio source. And I've got all these properties here. So what I want is, this is going to be my background music, right? So I'm going to go ahead and take this game music thing I have and just throw it up here into my audio clip. And that's going to be the clip that it's playing. I can mute it. I can bypass any effects that I might have. Play on awake means it's automatically going to play it, which that's what I want. The bypass reverb zones, I can set up reverb zones within my game so that I get reverb effects and things like that. Really cool. For instance, if you have a character walking through a game world and they enter into a hallway, you might want to set up a reverb zone inside that hallway so you get interesting echo, and you change the sound of the footsteps based upon the effects processing. Loop basically means that it's just going to loop whatever audio it is. This is my game music, so yeah, I want it to loop. Priority is going to be, well, it's priority. Volume. This is an interesting one. It can be anywhere from 0 to 1. Now, 1 is the max volume of this file. So if I wanted this file to be louder than its maximum volume, its default maximum volume, I would need to take it into a sound editing program and increase the volume there, increase increase gain or something like that. Pitch I can use to make it, I can change the pitch, make it sound lower, higher. Generally speaking, you want to keep it right there. Pan is going to be whether it's going on my left speaker or my right speaker. There might be times you want different sides if you're going for 3D kind of sound, but there's other ways to do that as well. Spatial blend, 2D or 3D. So if I have a 3D sound, which in a 2D game doesn't make any sense whatsoever, but, well, actually, you could even do it in a 3D game, in a 2D game, I'm sorry. 3D sound basically means that it's going to have fall off, and it's going to, as the player gets closer, it gets louder. As the player gets farther away, it gets softer. Whereas 2D sound, it's the same sound wherever the player is in the game world. And in fact, if I go down here to 3D sound settings, this is where I can change how the 3D, the spatial blend right here, how the player will hear it. So like by default, the player hears all of it when it's right here, and then we've got this logarithmic fall off, which generally I tend to prefer linear fall offs, but here, so you can see when the player is 500 units away from whatever it is, from that audio source, the player would not be able to hear it. And the volume of that audio source goes in this linear kind of fashion. That's if I'm using 3D. I'm not. I'm just using 2D. So whatever. All right. So there we go. So I've got my game music, and it should play on awake. So let's see what this sounds like. So we'll go ahead and start this up. And there we go. We've got some sound. Let's see. Maybe we want to turn the volume down a little bit so it doesn't dominate quite so much. I don't know. Whatever we want it to be. Okay. So there we go. So we've got some sound in it. So that wasn't too bad. So that gives us our basic music. And let's see. I did turn this down, didn't I? Okay, so the next thing I want to do here is have it play sound when a certain thing occurs. So let's see. Let's go ahead and get into handy dandy Google here, and let's do a Unity C# play audio. Let's find out how to do it. So let's see. Well, it looks like I've got a couple of options right here. This one takes me straight into the scripting AI. So does this one. Let's take a look at this one. So what does this one do? Audio source.play one shot. Doesn't really tell me. Oh, here it is. Plays an audio clip and scales the audio source by volume scale. Let's see. Volume scale. Do they have volume scale? I don't see volume scale. No, I don't see it. Okay, so how does this work? Let's see. Apparently I go audio dot, what is audio? Audio is a get component audio source. Okay, pretty cool there. Dot play one shot. And then in parentheses, I say what it is I want to play. Impact. Impact looks to be an audio clip. All right. And then what is this? Oh, this is just a float. That is going to be a volume scale if I wanted to change the volume on it, I guess. I wonder if I actually have to send it that. I mean, if I do, I could just send it 1. Oh, actually, it defaults to 1. That's what this is right here. So this right here tells you that if you don't send it a second parameter, it's going to default to 1.0f. It's going to default to full volume, which is nice to know. So really all I need to do is do a get component audio source, which you see right here, dot play one shot, and inside parentheses the name of the audio clip I want to play. Well, that seems pretty straightforward. So let's take a look at this. Let's go to our ball. Let's see. Yeah, we've got a ball out here in the world. Looks cool. Let me start minimizing some of these things that I don't really care about at the moment. So I'm going to begin with an add component audio and an audio source. All right. I'm going to keep you at 2D. Play on awake's fine because I'm not giving it any audio clips, so it's not going to play anything. In which case, if it's not going to play anything anyway, let's go ahead and turn that off then. Yeah, sure. Okay, that all looks fine. Cool. So now let's go into our where's my scripts? There they are. Let's go into our ball controller, because our ball controller handles a lot of our collisions and stuff. So I'll go ahead and drop into my ball controller here real quick. And let's see, maybe zoom it in so it might be a little bit easier to read on the screen. So the first thing I want is I'm going to want some variables for my audio. So let's see, right about here, I'm going to say, let's see, audio clips to play during certain events, as opposed to playing them during uncertain events. I don't know. All right, so this is going to be public, so that way I can assign it in my inspector. Public audio clip, right there it is. Let's see, hit paddle. That sounds good. What else do I need? Maybe a hit wall. Maybe a hit power up, and maybe a hit goal. Now, of course, I'm not going to do all of these. That's actually your assignment. Okay, so yeah, I want those. Hit paddle. In fact, I'm going to want all those, but let's just do hit paddle. Okay, so hit paddle. All right, now, when do I hit the paddle? Well, it should be in my collision right here. Let's see, there's a wall right here. I hit the paddle. I hit a player. Okay, so what do I want to do? I want to do a get component audio source. Are you there? Audio source is right there. Dot play one shot. And what did I call it? Hit paddle? I did call it hit paddle. Cool. All right, let's see what that does. So that's like all I need. That's my code for playing audio. Can it get more involved? Well, yes, it can. I can do more stuff than just playing a one shot. I can change the audio clip that's playing and whatnot. Okay, so there we go. I've got that in place. So what I needed was a variable right there, like so, referencing my audio clip I wanted to play. And then down here, just a get component audio source dot play one shot. And realistically, it might be smarter if I come back up here, just thinking down the road as far as potential optimization and whatnot. Let's do a reference to my audio source right here. And I'm going to do a, what am I going to do? Audio source, my audio source. Let's do it that way. Now inside my start right here, let's do a my audio source equals get component audio source. Now the reason that I do it this way is that way I've done this grabbing and assigned it to a reference variable one time, as opposed to as the game's running and things happen, having to go and grab this and then use it. Is this a lot of overhead? Well, not a terrible amount, but you know, if we're doing this a whole bunch of times, that could get a little sloppy there. So let me go back down here where I did my audio component, where I did my audio component get component, where I did that thing, and we're going to change this to be my audio source dot play one shot. There we go. Let's see what happens. Let's get down here and let's grab the ball. Let's grab the ball. There it is. And in the ball controller right there, I have a new variable for hit paddle. I don't know. Which one do I want? What's this one sound like? That one sounds fine. It looks like I need to do some editing on these. I do. Let's do a quick edit on these things. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to load up Audacity.